In the name of Allah, the most gracious, the most merciful. The use of tranquilizers is spreading. The number of people using tranquilizers is increasing. Rather, I shall say that this is increasing so much. Doctors are prescribing the tranquilizers to manage the stress level and certain other things. Stress has become something very common indeed. Now, some of the people are using the tranquilizer, even getting it prescribed from the doctor. The people are getting the prescription from the quicks and sometimes just from the medical stores, etc. People are buying the tranquilizers. Now there are another type of the people who are having even slightly bigger stress level, having somewhat even bigger stress level. Even the doctors will recommend them to use the use of tranquilizers, but they don't do it. They think that they will become dependent upon it and it will become their addiction. They will not be able to get rid of it. Another some of the people they can't afford it financially. Somehow the use of tranquilizers is increasing. But the people who there are people who genuinely needs these tranquilizers at least for some of the time, but they don't do it. They think that I will become dependent. I think this is bad. Once you are in need of a medicine, a sedative, tranquilizer, I think it should be used. Although we should try to avoid a situation where we will be in need of these tranquilizers and sedatives. We should avoid the situations like this one. We should try to preempt it. We should try to preclude it. We should try to preclude it. But once the need does arise, I think we should go to a doctor. We should go to a qualified doctor of the relevant department and we should share all the situation, the condition, whatever is going on inside our body, inside our mind. Whatever type of emotions we are having, we need to consult the clinical psychologists, psychiatrists, mental health practitioners. Now, those who don't use a medicine, a tranquilizer, even when it is needed, I think they suffer even a bigger loss. Sometimes they commit something very severe. Hence, unnecessary usage of tranquilizers, sedatives, other things, it is definitely bad. But not using it when it is needed is equally bad. Could be even more dangerous. Why? Because somebody might suffer a big health problem, brain hemorrhage, etc., paralysis or something else. So it is very necessary to seek the advice of the qualified doctor and not to hide anything else. Whatever is going on inside your body, whatever is going on inside your brain, never hide it. It is like some of the people are found saying that I don't use the antibiotics. There are enough number of people who will be found saying that I don't use the antibiotics. Why don't I use the antibiotic? Because this weakens my defense system, my body defense system. That is why I am not using the antibiotics. Unnecessary, unneeded use of antibiotics is definitely bad. And if you need a light, low potency antibiotic and somebody is using the high potency antibiotic, it is again very bad. But who is going to decide it, by the way? Whether we do need an antibiotic or we don't need an antibiotic, whether we do need a low potency antibiotic or a high potency one. Who is going to decide it? We ourselves? Definitely not. If at all we are the one going to make a decision about it, we will be making the wrong decisions. We are not expert. We are not skilled in the health sciences. Not at all. So once the unnecessary use of antibiotics is bad, but once it is needed but you are not taking it, it is equally bad or even more bad. I remember that I used to get a kind of throat infection off and on, and I was found using the antibiotics quite often. Mean after each quarter, year, or 4 months or so, I used to get the throat infection. Then, then what happened? A doctor Sahab told me that put the salt in the warm water and do gurgle thrice or 4 times, 3 4 times a day for 3 4 days. I did the same, and Alhamdulillah, I got rid of the need of antibiotics. But once my throat infection, due to my own negligence, developed, then the use of warm water with the salt does not work at all. Not only this thing, rather, the low potency antibiotic does not work. I took some high potency antibiotics. That is how I got my throat infection cured, because if it was somewhat developed. The trouble is that we ourselves became try to become the physician. We are actually not. Absolutely not. We must seek the advice of a qualified doctor belonging to the relevant department, and then should depend, should trust, should practice whatever they advise us, whatever they prescribe us. So I think that there was another thing to be discussed during this video. I could not, because the video will become longer, and inshallah in the very next video I shall be talking about, I shall be just sharing and discussing something other which is very useful, and that is and sort of, and that is a kind of antibiotic, and that is a kind of tranquilizers, sedative. But this sedative is absolutely harmless. This is rather have certain other benefits as well, because it is not relating to the medicine, we the stuff we buy from the medical store, from the pharmacy. Rather, it is something which is there with us only. And let's conclude this video, and inshallah I shall be talking about something very useful, which we don't have to buy from someone else, which we don't need the prescription for, we don't even need to go to the doctor, and we don't need to go to the pharmacy as well. So thank you. Let's wait for the new video.